Senate will please come to order. We are returning from a brief recess. The motion to adjourn was withdrawn. And we will now take up H 523, an act relating to reducing hydrofluorocarbon emissions. It was read for the first time on March 18th. It was referred to the Committee on Natural Resources and Energy, which reports it has considered the bill and recommends the bill be amended as set forth on pages 3626, 3627 of today's calendar, and that when so amended, the bill ought to pass. Listen to the second reading of H 523.
H 523, an act relating to reducing hydrofluorocarbon emissions.
The Senator from Windsor, Senator McCormick, is recognized for the report of the Committee on Natural Resources and Energy.
Thank you, Madam President, and I want to thank the Senate for its indulgence in letting me report this today. I think I can do the Senate a favor in that this is a non-controversial bill and that no one is opposing it. As a frequent advocate for environmental protections, I often have to make two kinds of arguments. One, that the proposal is not as inconvenient to business. And number two, even if it is, the environmental issues are more important. In this case, the affected businesses support it. It has to do with coolants, air conditioning and such, and the automobiles and the industry organizations in Vermont are in support of the bill. H 523 seeks to reduce hydrofluorocarbon emissions. Hydrofluorocarbons, or HFCs, are frequently used as coolants. They're used in industrial cooling, air conditioning, automobile air conditioning, and so on. They're good coolants. They work. And they were they became common usage when it was discovered decades ago that CFCs, chlorofluorocarbons, were good coolants that had the nasty habit of migrating upward because they're lighter than air and migrating into the stratosphere where they would interact chemically with ozone. And people will remember the infamous hole in the ozone layer and the uptake, in particular in the southern hemisphere, the increase in skin cancers and cataracts and so on. And that was just then the idea of continued damage to the ozone layer was for the future terrifying. And so we did away with CFCs and came up with HFCs, which in fact do not interact with ozone. That's the good news. The bad news is they're greenhouse gases. And so we had a problem, we've got a solution. The solution has created a new problem. How bad they are, the Vermont Vehicle and Automotive Distributors Association, which is the industry organization for auto parts in Vermont, has a rating system for greenhouse gases. HFCs get a rating of 1,300. The new coolants that are being used in place of HFCs have a rating of less than 1. So it's quite a difference. ANR needs an update of the statutes so as to allow for the use of coolants that are approved by the EPA and instead of HFCs. The bill updates per ANR requests to prohibits HFCs and allows for new, better replacements. It updates building codes regarding air conditioning, heating, and refrigeration. And it updates needed to allow for EPA-approved alternatives. The bill also outlaws HFC canisters It is possible to go to an auto supply place and buy a canister of the HFC coolant to replace coolant that has leaked out of the air conditioner. Think about it. Why does it need to be replaced? Because it has leaked out. It's a greenhouse gas that has leaked out into the atmosphere and migrated up into the stratosphere. And the HFCs in the canister are destined to leak out as well. So outlawing the canisters simply makes sense. The bill requires replacing air conditioners. Professionals who replace air conditioners must use approved capture and recycling machines. Underwriters laboratory is the authorizer, the approval agency. And I would point out that the Air Conditioning, Heat, Refrigeration Institute of Vermont approves the code changes. Briefly, section by section, and Madam President, I neglected to ask at the beginning of my talk, there are two amendments which are small changes in the bill. I would speak to those in the context of the bill. Section 1 bans HFCs, sale, lease, rent, installation, and other commercial uses. Bans recharge canisters. Section 2 air conditioners, car air conditioners, and requires that the equipment used must be underwriter laboratory certified. Section 3 respects beds. It basically says that nothing here is going to interfere with EPA-approved alternatives. The First Amendment changes some language pertaining to skating rinks, which refer in the original as construction of and improvements to skating rinks. And this just speaks now to refrigeration systems. The bill does not seek to regulate only the refrigeration systems. Also, that it does, on the one hand, it's limited to a refrigeration system, so it's not a taking over regulating of skating rinks, but on the other hand, it does mean that if there's a skating rink, that its refrigeration system is at least subject to regulation. Not forced to change, but when the time comes to change or if a leak develops, you can't be leaking the HFC out into the atmosphere. The Second Amendment simply drops the words statute from statutes and rules and just refers to rules, because we can't be telling future legislatures what kinds of statutes they can and can't pass. I would point out again, I hope I don't sound like a broken record, but that this has the support of all the involved industries. We heard from Representative Christy Morris, who was the reporter of the bill for the House. We heard from Ellen Tchaikovsky, Legis Counsel, and from Megan O'Toole, the Climate Change Mitigation Coordinator at the Department of Environmental Conservation, Agency of Natural Resources. And as again, they are the ones who asked for the bill. We generally do not make reference to the procedures in the other body, but I would point out that the Natural Resources Committee in the other body, the source of the bill, heard from a virtual who's who of the Vermont business community. The vote in committee was 5-0-0, and we would ask that the Senate approve the amendments, and when so amended, that the bill should pass. Thank you, Madam President.
The question is, shall the Senate propose to the House to amend the bill as recommended by the Committee on Natural Resources and Energy? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you propose to the House to amend the bill as recommended by the Committee on Natural Resources and Energy. The question now is, shall the bill be read for the third time? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've ordered third reading of H 523. We will now move to H 482, followed by H 606. We have on the calendar for action H 482, act relating to the petroleum cleanup fund, read for the first time on March 22nd. Referred to the Committee on Natural Resources and Energy, which reports it has considered the bill and recommends the bill pass. Then referred to the Committee on Appropriations, which reports it has considered the bill and recommends the bill pass. The senator from Addison, please listen to the second reading of the bill.
H 482, an act relating to the Petroleum Cleanup Fund.
You've now heard the second reading. The senator from Addison, Senator Bray, is now recognized on natural resource and energy.
Thank you, Madam President. Again, it's H 482, an act relating to the Petroleum Cleanup Fund. It's probably a fund that many of us are familiar with. We've had it in the state of Vermont since 1987. It helps defray the costs of cleaning up spills related to water and heating fluids. This is a very brief we're recommending to the Senate to concur with the House bill with no changes. And then there, look at the calendar, you'll see there is very brief. We have, over the last several years, seen the response to two sets of revenue streams. One is fees, storage tanks, like gas tanks, those fees range $100,000. We also collect fees per gallon on heating oil, diesel, gasoline, dyed diesel, and kerosene. And in the second category, sales of all these types of liquid fuel have declined. And because of that, the fund is receiving less money. And in order to fully fund it, they need to administer, they need to use a larger percentage of the total in the funds. They have been operating with an overhead of 6%. The House studied the math and recommended moving that to 10%. We've heard from the food dealers as well as ANR, interested parties as well as council. There were no opinions to the bill, and we recommend that we concur.
The question is, shall the bill be read the third time? Are you ready for the question? Senator from Windsor is recognized.
Madam President, the Appropriations Committee reviewed a bill concerning the Petroleum Cleanup Fund and found there is no impact on the state budget. At the end of June 2021, there was $8.2 million in the fund, and raising the disbursement from 6% to 10% of annual receipts is approved. The committee vote was 6-0-1. Thank you.
With no disrespect, I don't mean to call the question before recognizing you. You've now also heard the report from the Committee on Appropriations, and the question, shall the bill be read? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you've ordered third reading of H 482. We now have on the calendar for action H 606, an act relating to community resilience and biodiversity protection. It was read for the first time on March 18th. It was referred to the Committee on Natural Resources and Energy, which reports it has considered the bill and recommends the bill ought to pass. It was then also referred to the Committee on Appropriations, which reports it has considered the bill and recommends the bill ought to pass. Please listen to the second reading of H 606.
H 606, an act relating to community resiliency and biodiversity protection.
The senator from Addison, Senator Bray, is recognized for the report of the Committee on Natural Resources and Energy.
Madam President, we're again recommending the bill as passed by the House, and it's issues of resilience and biodiversity. The bill addresses a sad fact, and that is that we see it in the findings that according to animation, million species of plants and animals are threatened with extinction. We, as a species, have had some devastating impacts on there are 8 billion creatures on planet Earth. We're just one species. But, unfortunately, we've had a negative impact on many others. And finally, deals the main drivers of this change, and that is changes in land and sea use, direct exploitation of organisms, climate change, pollution, and invasive species. This is something that's not news to anyone. In 2017, there was a Vermont Forest Action Plan. In 2021, the Vermont Climate Assessment recommended nature-based solutions to helping address climate adaptation and resilience. And the Vermont Climate Action Plan also calls for strategic investment in permanent conservation. On top of those 3 initiatives, all recommended actions to conserve natural spaces, we have the Vermont Conservation Design, which is a vision and a plan, a vision of sustaining Vermont's ecologically functional landscape in the future. So the challenge here is that we have a lot of information, but we haven't yet formulated a plan for conservation. So in section it lays out definitions for different types of reserve areas to be preserved permanently. One is national ecological areas. The second is biodiversity areas, and the third is natural resource areas. We have to explain more about the distinctions. But with those 3 types enumerated, the vote goes on in section 3, in 2022, to state goals for considered permanently 30% of Vermont's total land by 2030 and 50% by 2050. And you might wonder where we are now. We're around 26%. And this initiative is really follows on and mirrors President Biden in a January 27, 2021 executive order articulated permanent conservation of people often call it the 35-30 initiative. So how we get there? In section 2803, we request from the Secretary of A&R to develop a plan, a conservation plan, that reviews the conservation designations articulated earlier in the bill, creates an inventory of the amount of land in Vermont that is permanently conserved, and to the extent practical, the amount of currently conserved land, it generally falls into each of the conservation categories. An evaluation of the impact of intergenerational land transfer trends, a summary of the totality of conservation practices in Vermont, an assessment of how state lands will be used in these areas, and three more things: implementation methods, namely achieve the elements of Vermont conservation plan, and inventory of all the existing programs with an eye towards being able to coordinate them, and then finally, an assessment of existing funding and recommendations for funding. So we already have a suite of programs around the state, but they haven't been drawn together to put in harness towards a comprehensive goal. So this names that 30% by 30 by 30, 50 by 50, and draws them all together as an overarching plan to help facilitate the work of future legislatures. This inventory will be updated on an annual basis to help us track our progress. And that actually completes the bill. So that takes effect on July 1 of this year.
The Senator from Windsor, Senator Nica, is recognized for the report of the Committee on Appropriations.
Madam President, the Appropriations Committee reviewed the Community Resilience and Biodiversity Protection Act. As the senator from Addison reported, there are plans to be developed to implement conservation goals, of the Vermont Conservation Design and do a conservation lands inventory. No funds are required at this time or requested. There is a request in the bill that assessment be done of existing funding as well as recommendations for future funding. Vote in the committee was 6-0. Thank you.
The question is, shall the bill be read the third time? Are you ready for the question? Senator Essex Orleans.
Yes, may I interrogate the reporter of the bill?
Interrogate, inquire as you wish. The senator may proceed.
Yes, Madam President, could the reporter tell us if land that is already in the agricultural and forest land conservation programs are going to be considered conserved land, or are there more restrictions and regulations coming to go beyond what owners of that land already have to do to meet the standards of that program?
Thank you for the question. For land, so I think the important distinction for what kind of land we're talking about learning to conserve. So whether that is, and the bill addresses land, whether it's private or public, so any permanently conserved land, including agricultural land, would be part of the program and already captured in the city.
Thank Madam President. Thank you very much.
The question is, shall the bill be read the third time? Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
No.
The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it, and you've ordered third reading of H 606. The senator from Wyndham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm pending announcement from the Senate stand at adjournment until 1 p.m. Monday, May 2nd.
The senator from Wyndham has moved that subject to any announcements, the Senate do adjourn until Monday, May 2nd at 1 p.m. Are there any announcements this afternoon? The senator from Bennington is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Education will meet 15 minutes after the fall of the gavel.
The senator from Wyndham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Government Operations has been canceled.
The senator from Washington is recognized.
Madam President, Senate Finance will meet 10 minutes after the fall of the gavel.
Senator from Chittenden is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. Senate Economic Development will meet on Monday by Zoom at 10 a.m.
Any additional announcements? I do have one on behalf of the committee and committees. The senator from Wyndham is recognized.
I think everyone is aware. Thank you, Madam President. I think you're aware that we have having more staff and senators get infected with COVID. I'm just going to ask you all to just be extra careful, please. If you're at all able to wear your masks around the building, please wear them in committee rooms and be careful this weekend. You're dropping like flies and I need you next week. We got work to get done. So thank you, Madam President.
And rest. The senator from Rutland is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. I believe the senior senator from Bennington has his hand up.
Thank you. The senator from Bennington is recognized.
Senate Judiciary will meet on Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. to take up the gubernatorial appointment of Dan Richardson to be a Superior Court judge. And additionally, we'll meet 8:30 a.m. on Wednesday.
Are there any additional announcements? I have an announcement on behalf of the Committee on Committees. Senator Cummings has requested the following appointees to the Committee of Conference on H 510. Senator Cummings, Senator Pearson, Senator Westman. The senator from Wyndham is recognized.
Thank you, Madam President. This time I ask that we message our action to the House that we just took on H 510.
The senator from Wyndham has asked that the bill be suspended and H 510 be messaged to the House forthwith. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. The ayes have it, and you suspended the rules and messaged H 510 to the House forthwith. Are there any other announcements? The The senator from Wyndham has moved the Senate adjourn until Monday, May 2nd at 1 p.m. Are you ready for the question? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Nay.
No.
The ayes appear to have it. The ayes do have it. I wish you all a good weekend and the Senate is adjourned until Monday, May 2nd.